Hello Year 3, this is Wednesday's maths video. So I've cheated a little bit. The start of today's maths activity is our fact of the day. So yesterday we did 3 times 2 making 6. Today we're going on to 4 groups of 2 that make 8. So I've cheated. I've got a piece of paper ready and this is all you need to have in your maths book. You do not need to write today's learning point. Let's just stick to fact of the day. So if you can write the date at the top of the page so that we know when you did it, and just write fact of the day, 4 times 2 equals 8 in the middle of your piece of paper, and we'll get going. So 4 times 2 makes 8. Numicon is brilliant to show this. There's a group of 2, 1 times 2, 2 times 2, 3 times 2, 4 times 2, and the holes in the Numicon tell us what we've got all together, so we can see that we've got a lovely group of 8 circles there made by the 4 lots of 2. So that's already typed on the piece of paper, and let me show you a different way of thinking about the same thing. If I get 4 plates for Numicon, I can think about turning this fact around the other way. This has got 2 groups of 4. So on my sheet of paper, I can record this. 4 times 2 makes 8. 4 groups of 2 make 8. 2 groups of 4 also make 8. So that's my next maths fact I'm going to add. If I've got 8 objects that I want to share between 2 people, I can also think about that. So we can use the idea of sharing some money this time instead of the sweets that I've used before. So a little tip when you're thinking about multiplying and dividing is, if you can, arrange what you've got into an array or a rectangle, and it just makes things easier to count. So now that I've moved the coins, you can probably see quite easily that I've got £8 here. And actually what I'm showing you here is 2 groups of 4. If I slightly change it, this is how we show 4 groups of 2. So I haven't changed how much money I've got, it's just looking at the amount of 8 in 2 different ways. So this is 2 times 4 and 4 times 2 are the 2 ways that we can show it. So for example, if I had £8 and I wanted to share it between 2 people, I can see straight away that each person would get £4 each, and I can record that on my piece of paper on my maths fact sheet. And the way we write it is, I've got 8 and I share it between 2 people in this example, and each person gets £4. The alternative way of thinking about it is, what if I've got the 8 but I've got 4 people, so I've got 4 equal groups. The groups must be the same size. So that next one that I'm showing you, this one, is 8 shared between 4 groups equally. Each group's got £2 in this example. So that's another way of thinking about 4 times 2 making 8. So if we put all the groups of 2 back together, we're back to our fact of the day. I'm going to carry on with coins as another way of thinking about bigger numbers. So if we now think about 4 lots of 20, I've got 20 pence 4 times. So I can record this fact as 4 times, oops, made a mistake, 4 times 20 pence equals, hopefully you can see we've got 80 pence there. If I slightly change the way I'm thinking, the coins haven't changed. The way I'm thinking about it is, this is 2 lots of 40p, making 80 pence. And we've talked before about how we can change these numbers around with our multiplication facts, which is what we did here. So these two small numbers can be swapped around, but the biggest number remains there. I should also add another easy number sentence is to start off with what you've got. 8 is the same as 2 times 4. All this equals sign means is the same as. And we can also have 8 equals 4 groups of 2. So we're starting to build up an awful lot of different number sentences to show our fact of the day. Thinking about adding some drawings to our fact of the day, I'm cheating here, so I've got some nice stickers. Guess what they've got on them, as if you couldn't guess, because I am slightly obsessed with cats. So if you've got any stickers at home that might help you to show a fact of the day. On my little cats here, I've got 4 cats, and each of the cats has got 2 ears. So I'm just going to use the ears as an example. If I have 4 pussycats, they've each got a pair of ears, and altogether I've got 8 ears. So you can be a little bit creative with these. You can also draw dings or other equipment. So you could, for example, draw Numicon. So here's a simple picture of Numicon. I had 4 plates of Numicon, and each plate has 2 holes in it, making 8. Okay, over to you. Can you spend about 10-15 minutes doing a fact of the day poster for 4 times 2, making 8 things? See what original ideas you can come up with, and if you can come up with some slightly different number sentences. They must have the times or divide sign in them, so that's the way we record it. There's one exception. You can write with an addition sign that if you get 2 and add it to itself 4 times, that makes 8. Okay, I'll leave that one up to you. See what you can record. Look forward to seeing those later. And we'll now go on to the second part of today's maths learning. So the main part of today is going to be making a mind map all about multiplication and division, but we'll start off focusing on multiplication and the words we use to explain what we're doing. You're going to need your yellow maths book, again some colours. You should be working in coloured pencil really in a book, because felt tip pen goes through to the other side and it makes it difficult to read, and a pencil to write with. I'm doing it in felt tip pen because it's easier to see. So if you get what you need, and then I'll explain today's task. So you need a double page in your maths book, and you do need to copy down today's learning point for the 13th of January. Can I use and understand the language of multiplying and dividing? As I've said, we'll focus on multiplication. So going across the fold in the centre of your book, you're going to write the word multiplication quite large in a lozenge shape like we've done in class. So the word multiplication is going across the centre of the page quite big, and you'll need to make 3 coloured branches coming off your central word multiplication. And each branch is in a different colour because it's about a slightly different thing. So our first branch, mine happens to be blue, you can use any colour you like, is about the words we use. So we don't write in colour, we just write in normal pencil. We stick 2 colours to do the branches. So the words we use for multiplication. So far, a lot, I've been using some words. I've been using the word groups, And sometimes I've said we've got sets of 2 because we've been talking about the 2 times table. So groups and sets are one way of talking about multiplication. I've also used the word times. So we've talked about getting groups of 2 so far, 2 times, 3 times and 4 times if we think about today's fact of the day. And we've also said lots of. I've gone to get 4 lots of 2. So today's mind map is thinking about the language we use. So these words are talked about a lot. Earlier I talked about how if you add the same number to itself, that's when you can use an add sign. So for example, we've got 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 3 lots of 2, which is 6. And that is called repeated addition because you're adding the same number every time. We'll come back to that later. So those are the main words that we've been using to describe groups and going to get them a certain number of times. My other branch, in my case the red one, is about the equipment we use in school to teach multiplication. And although you're not at school at the moment, most of you, I think it's still useful to talk about some of the things we could use to teach and learn about multiplication. So, for example, we've got Numicon. So I'm going to draw a really simple picture of a Numicon plate. In this case, I'm thinking about the 2 times table. But later on, we're going to go on to some more challenging tables to learn. So, for example, I happen to know that, I wonder if you know, this rubbish picture is of the red Numicon plate, which is groups of 5. And then we've got the dark blue tens plate, because those are the times tables you learn about first. You're meant to learn about those in year 2. So I'm hoping a lot of you know your 2s, 5s and 10s really, really well. In year 3, you are meant to know your 3s and your 4s off by heart. So we'll pop those on as well. You might not have the right colours, don't worry too much. And you don't have to draw all of these. So you're meant to be making a mind map like mine in case you weren't sure what to do, as I haven't explained it very well. So times 3s look like that. And we met the times 4s today. So that's a pale green, but don't worry too much. You haven't got the right colour. So times 4 is like that. So this equipment is called, I'll just write it somewhere where they are, Numicon. That's what we use in school. We also use, so I'm going to draw a line to Numicon, to my branch, the word Numicon. We also use Deans a lot with number work in school, and those are the little counting cubes of 1s. I'll just randomly draw 2 of them. And we also use 10 sticks for Deans. Don't worry, it's not an art lesson, just do your best. So that's Deans, that we might get groups that are the same size and think about what we've got all together. So I'll just write the label for our final branch because Mrs. Davies is going to be talking to you about what arrays are tomorrow. And I'll basically tell you an array is a group of objects arranged into a rectangular shape. And it's just like the Bug Soldier book, Remainder of One. The soldiers were trying to put themselves into an array. So Mrs. Davies will explain what an array is in more detail for tomorrow's lesson, and you'll be going to see if you can find some in real life. So don't worry about that third branch. If you can make this mind map today, have a little think about what the words mean and what I've just said. And if you can think of any other words that you think need to be going onto our mind map, you could talk about them in the Zoom meeting this afternoon. I hope you have a good day, Year 3. Speak to you soon. Bye.